All right, so with it being January, I just wanted to take some time here and talk about applications for elk tags in each of the western states. And since Wyoming is the first one on the list with the earliest deadline to apply, we're going to start with Wyoming. So Randy Newberg and I did an Elk Talk podcast. It was episode 14 on strategies, processes, tag allocation, everything related to the Wyoming non-resident elk draw. But I wanted to go in and actually specifically talk about what I look for in applying for units in each state. So we're going to start with Wyoming. I'm going to walk you through the resources that I use to research, as well as the process that I go through when I'm trying to determine if I'm going to be able to draw a tag, if I'm going to be able to buy a tag over the counter, and once I determine that, which unit and what areas I'm specifically going to focus in on. So the bulk of what we're going to go through today is the GoHUNT Insider membership. And I signed up from the get-go when they first came out, and I've been a member ever since. The value of that membership for looking into research within units as well as within states for every western elk state is just incredible. So I'm going to jump in real quickly and go into some of the benefits of that and how I use it. But first, just know that Wyoming, the entire state for a non-resident elk tag, is a draw. So they have several units that are general units, but even those general units, if you're a non-resident, you have to apply for and successfully draw a tag to be able to hunt there. Those same general units are available over the counter for a resident of Wyoming, but for non-residents, those tags have to be drawn in the state draw process. So if you go out to GoHunt.com, and if you are an Insider member, you can click on up here and go to Insider Basecamp. If you're not a member, we'll talk about that, but the way I do it is I just go to Wyoming and Arizona 2019 draw odds are live on our new site. Click here for 2019 odds. So I click there. It takes me to the new for 2019 Wyoming and Arizona draw odds, and then I click on Wyoming, and I am a non-resident. Now I have two choices in Wyoming, either the non-resident regular or the non-resident special, and the difference in those two tags for elk hunting is just price. There's no other difference. So if you're willing to pay more, and I almost said a little more, but if you're willing to pay significantly more in Wyoming, you can go in the non-resident special pool. And what that is it's set aside 40% of the non-resident tags for non-residents who are willing to pay almost $600 more to be in that pool. And the other 60% of the tags are in the regular pool. So if we go up and edit this, go to non-resident regular, now we're in the non-resident regular pool, which is the normal price. And I believe it's $692 for the elk license in Wyoming, plus a $15 non-refundable application fee. If you go with the non-resident special elk tag, it's going to cost you $1,283 plus the $15 non-refundable application fee. So almost $600 more. What that $600 gets you is better draw odds. And I'll take a look and I'll show you some of the differences as we get in there. So we're in Wyoming. We're clicking on the non-resident. Let's go with regular to start with, because that's how I usually start. We're going to click on elk, and it's going to bring up every elk unit in the state of Wyoming on this chart. So you're going to have regular rifle, you're going to have limited archery, and you're going to have the limited rifle or the general rifle. So we can select all seasons if we aren't particular to what season or what weapon we want to use. So we'll leave it at that for now. Draw odds, we want to go into applying as a first choice hunt, and then how many points do we have? So I'm going to use the example of 7 points. So if somebody has 7 points in Wyoming, and then you can select your minimum draw odds. And let's just say I want a 50% chance of drawing my tag this year with 7 points. Now it'll show me every unit in the state highlighted with my 7 points, and it'll give me my draw odds for every unit that I have a 50% or greater chance of drawing. So you can see we're starting here with the rifle limited quota tags. So these are all draw hunts, rifle draw hunts, and all but one of them with 7 points is 100% guaranteed to draw. And there is one here, unit 38, that is 51% with 7 points. There's also the general rifle, which is 100% guaranteed to draw with 7 points. And then you have the archery, the type 9 or the limited quota archery only hunts. And you'll see here again, there are around 10 units that I can be guaranteed to draw, 100% draw odds with 7 points. So let's say I have no idea where I want to go, and I know I want to archery hunt. So I'm going to go down here to the season filter, and I'm going to select archery limited quota. And from there it shows me those 10 hunts I was looking at before. All 10 of them are 100% draw odds. Now if I wanted to maybe take a chance and say, I don't need a 50 or 100% draw odds, I can slide this down to say 10%. And you'll notice that there are no new hunts that pop up there. So at 7 points, I'm pretty much in on any of these hunts. Now there are going to be some, if I go to 0, you'll see that there are several others that pop up. Unit 54, I don't have any chance of drawing that until we get to 9 points. Unit 11, at 7 points, I have a 3.2% draw odd on that one. So let's maybe say, we'll go back to, I want to make sure I draw it this year. So at 7 points, 100% draw odds, it shows me those 10 units, but I want to figure out which one's probably the more quality unit based on draw odds. And you'll see, if we go back to 6 points, everything's still 100%. But if we go to 5 points, unit 39 is at 52% draw odd, and everything else is 100%. So that tells me that unit 39 of these 10 units is probably the most sought after draw hunt for my point range with 7 points. So let's just jump in here and take a look at unit 39. And when you click on the area, unit 39, it's going to bring up a whole bunch of detailed information for that specific area. And you'll see here the draw odds for the last 4 years. Highlighted are your points from the previous years. So if we're at 7 points this year, it's going to show us at 6 points last year, 5 points year before, and so on. And it'll show you what your draw odds were in previous years for the same hunt. You'll notice that 4 years ago, odds were at 3.3%, stayed the same in 2016. 2017, it actually dropped a little to 2.2%. And now here we are this year with 7 points, and we're at 100%. You can also see how many people applied for that hunt. So for the non-resident, special or regular tag, you can see there were no apps for that hunt last year with anyone greater than 10 points. 2 people with 9 points applied, but then there was nobody down until 7 points. So gives you an idea of how many people are in the draw and applied last year at each point level, to give you an idea of what your odds might be. Say if somebody jumps ahead of you, or if there were 8 people last year at your same point level, and if none of those people drew, there would be all 8 of them back in there again this year. So just really helpful to see what the trends are, as well as who's in line with you for that specific unit. From there you can scroll down, you can see the applications versus tag allocations. So you can see how many tags they give out versus how many people apply. You can see the harvest success for the last 4 years. You'll notice that it peaked at 38% in 2014, and then has been 27%, 28%, and last year at 19%. And then as far as details, just a quick overview of the unit. It's saying average quality is 280 inch to 330 inch bulls. Trophy potential is 330 plus. Harvest success rate average 19%. And the bull to cow ratio is 15 bulls per 100 cows. So if I was interested in that and had 7 points, I would probably opt out for a couple reasons. Number one, this is a limited entry archery hunt. Success rates at 19%. While that's good for archery hunting, I think there's probably better units. And then the bull to cow ratio at 15 bulls per 100 cows definitely would be a concern for me. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to find one of these other units in the same kind of situation here. And one thing I want to point out is you'll have an area like area 60 that's showing up here. I could draw it guaranteed with 7 points, but as we slide over, I'm actually guaranteed to draw unit 60 with 0 points. So maybe I don't want to waste 7 points on that hunt. But with that being said, if we click on it, we'll go into unit 60. We'll see that it's been 100% for quite a while. In fact, it's gotten easier and easier to draw the last 4 years, which is always a concern. Maybe the quality's gone down. You'll notice there are no applications since 2016, really, from anybody with more than 3 points. And then you'll also notice your tag allocation versus applications, your harvest success. Well, harvest success peaked at 37% in 2014, dropped a little, but then it was actually up to 41% last year. So 41% harvest success, that definitely catches my attention. And one of the other cool things is the bull to cow ratio is 35 to 100. And when I see that, I start getting excited because there's a lot of potential, a lot of bulls. You're noticing the average quality is 300 to 330 inches, trophy potential 340 plus. This is a unit that I would definitely be interested in. However, it takes 0 points to draw. So why is it that this amazing bull to cow ratio, amazing harvest success, why is nobody applying? And that information is readily available if you go into filtering 2.0 on GoHUNT and look in that unit. So that's unit 60, which is known as the thoroughfare. It's on the southeast corner of Yellowstone National Park. If you click on unit 60, it'll bring up all the detail you want about that unit. And the first thing it says in the snapshot is this area is found in the Teton Wilderness area near the southeastern border of Yellowstone National Park. The entire unit is located within a designated wilderness area and cannot be hunted by non-residents without an outfitter or registered Wyoming resident guide. So that right there is the primary reason why this unit is phenomenal, but nobody's applying for it. As a non-resident in Wyoming, you cannot hunt in federally designated wilderness areas without an outfitter or a registered resident guide. It could be a friend of yours, but they have to register as a resident guide and can only take out so many people under that application per year. So again, just looking at draw odds isn't necessarily helpful. Getting the whole picture is. And so as you scroll down through here, you're going to find information on the terrain, on the vegetation. It's 100% public land. There's 0% motorized access in this unit. It's going to talk about access and camping and lodging. And then it's going to get into elk-specific information. It's going to talk about the archery stamp, what's needed, the limited entry hunt, the general hunt with any legal weapon. Tons of information there. You're also going to find moon phase calendars as well as other application date deadlines within GoHUNT's Insider membership. So incredibly valuable information to help you narrow down the specific unit that you want to hunt in. So again, let's just take a look. Here's the map. This shows Wyoming with all of its elk units. And we're going to put trophy potential, let's say 300 plus. So I'm going to drag over here on the filtering, and I'm going to look at units that have trophy potential of 300 plus, which pretty much the entire state of Wyoming. I don't know if any units actually disappeared there. There were a couple. So those ones probably are ones that don't have any real trophy potential in them. And again, trophy hunting isn't for everyone, and this certainly isn't an indicator that you're going to shoot a 300-inch bull in any of these units if you get a tag. It's just talking about the general potential of that unit. So from there, we're going to pick the non-resident regular tag. We're going to talk about first choice, and we're going to increase this to 7 points. And we want to see all of the units that we can draw 100% guaranteed with 7 points. You'll notice several of the units disappeared, but there's still several units available that we can draw with 7 points. From there, we're going to select our season, and let's say we want an archery stamp or an archery tag, either general or limited entry. And we want a unit that has 30% success or better. And you'll notice all of the units disappeared. So there are no archery elk tags available in Wyoming for a non-resident with 7 points that offer 30% success rate or better and are in an area that provides the potential for a 300-inch or bigger bull. So we'll go back down here, and I'm going to click all seasons. And then I'm going to change our success rates back to 0. And as we increase that, we see 10% were good, 15% were good, 20% a couple dropped off, 25% a few more did, 30% even more did. So here's what's available to us as far as units in Wyoming with 30% or better harvest. And this is looking at all seasons. So if we wanted to look at just the archery, we're going to select general archery, limited archery, and limited quota type 9. And we're going to look at units we can draw 50% or better with 7 points. And you'll see we're down to just those 10 or so units, probably the similar 10 that we were looking at before. So I'm just going to select one here. We'll notice that a lot of this, the green is national forest. It's not necessarily wilderness. But let's just pick unit 41. Looks like it's over in the Bighorn Mountains. It'd be east of Graybull. And when we click on unit 41, it's going to tell us all of that information, all of the overview, the trophy potential, what the terrain's like. It's 85% public land. It doesn't say anything about wilderness areas, so we're good there. Now from here we can actually come down and see that with 5 points we have a 39% draw odd, and with 7 points we're 100% guaranteed. If we want to change either the tag that we're looking at or the number of points we have, we can do that within each specific unit as well. It talks about what license is needed. Type 9 limited quota is open September 1st through the 30th. We need an archery stamp. There's an any legal weapon limited quota opportunity in there from October 15th through November 4th. Talks about how many points it takes to draw that tag. So tons of information within each of those units. Now, for me specifically, I don't have 7 points, and I wish I did, but we drew Wyoming last year. We've actually drawn Wyoming several times over the last 8 or 9 years through the general tag. And the general tag encompasses, I don't remember how many, but 20 or 30 units within the state that you can hunt. Again, it's over the counter for a resident. Non-residents have to draw it. So let's go in and look at a non-resident on the regular with 0 points, and we're going to have to lower the draw odds because the only, well, let's just go all seasons here really quick. There are only 2 units in the entire state that a non-resident is 100% guaranteed to draw with 0 points. So we're going to have to reduce that down, and we're going to drop that down to say 10% draw odds. Now we get quite a few more. What I want to talk about specifically here is the general tag. So if I click on the general tag here, it comes up and it's got a whole list of units that are included within that general tag or that general license. You're going to be able to see resident or non-resident draw odds for the regular tag. And if you'll notice here, in 2018, a non-resident had a 64% chance of drawing that tag with 2 points. And you'll also notice that the non-resident with 0 points had a 14% chance of drawing that. Wyoming is split into a preference and bonus pool for applying. 75% of the available tags go to those with the most points. So that's why someone with 2 points had a 64% chance of drawing, and somebody with 0 points still had a chance. Those other 25% of the tags are put back in and given and distributed randomly based upon how many points you have. So someone with 0 points can still draw pretty much any tag there in the state. It's just your chances are going to be much lower. So if you are looking at that general license, you have a 14% chance of drawing with 0 points, which is me this year. I have 0 points. If I'm looking at putting in for the general elk license, my odds are 14%, unless I want to pay more money. And if I'm willing to pay another $576, I can enter the non-resident special draw. And in the special draw, I'm going to show you those draw odds with 0 points. We're going to go up to 10% just to filter out quite a few of them here. You still see there's quite a few. We're going to go down to the general and we'll click on it. Now in the special draw, paying a little bit extra, that exact same hunt last year, the same elk tag, you had a 29% chance of drawing with 0 points. So it doubles your odds to go into that pool for that hunt at that point level. With 1 point, you are 98% guaranteed to draw that tag. If you were looking for the regular license there, I think it was down around 26 or 29%, if I remember from the last screen. So 4 times greater chance of drawing if you go in the special pool with 1 point, and then you're guaranteed at 2 points. So for me, if I was looking at drawing a general license this year and I had 0 points, and I was able to pay the other $576 to get into the special pool, it's going to greatly increase my chances of drawing that hunt. From there, a couple other things we can look at. We can look at the archery limited quota hunts and anything higher than, let's say, see if there's anything at 50% with 0 points. And there are a couple. I could draw Unit 55 or Unit 60 archery hunts with 0 points and 100% guaranteed. And again, we looked at Unit 60, it's a wilderness area. My guess is if we look at Unit 55, we're going to find that it also is a wilderness area. And so I'll jump back here to the map. I'm going to click on 55. It's on the east side of Yellowstone. And it says, most of the areas in the Washakie and North Absaroka designated wilderness areas. So that means there's very limited access for a non-resident without an outfitter, which is why the draw odds are so high. So anyway, I hope that's just a helpful overview that will kind of show you how I go through. I start off at the higher level, trying to find the units that I can draw, that I have a chance of drawing with my point level. I look at both the non-resident special and the non-resident regular, because there are actually some units that are easier to draw in the regular draw than the special, for whatever reason. I don't know, it's just the way the odds go. More people think they can pay more money and have better odds, and those people jump into that pool, and it leaves fewer people in the regular draw, and now the regular draw has better odds. But for the most part, you're paying extra money to get better odds. And so that's how I start. I look at the unit, or I look at the number of points I have, I look at the draw odds for that unit, and then I look at the season I want to hunt. From there, I go in and find 4 or 5 units that meet that criteria, that are that stand out based on previous applications or the total number of tags. I make sure they aren't in a designated wilderness area, and then I really drill down. I look at bull to cow ratios, which anything over 25 to 100 is probably going to be pretty solid. If I can get up to 40 bulls per 100 cows, that's going to be really awesome. There's going to be a lot of bulls in that unit. You're going to have a lot more calling opportunities probably there, more aggressive calling than any unit with a lower bull to cow ratio. And the other thing I look at is going back over to where the map is there. I make sure public land is 80% or greater, and harvest percentage. So I want to make sure that harvest percentage is above 20% for most draw hunts that I'm looking at, and I want to maximize it. So I'll drag the filter on harvest success up to 50% and start. And you'll notice there are several units that are higher than 50%. Most of those are probably rifle hunts. So if I look at archery and change that, I'll find there's only 3 units that are 50% or higher for an archery tag. And from there I can look and see, okay, is it wilderness area? Why is it such high success rates? Are there few tags? What's the bull to cow ratio in each one? These 3 units are displayed right here in this column, and I can see trophy potential 310, bull to cow ratio 18 to 100, public land 60%. Next one, trophy potential 330, bull to cow ratio 15 to 100, public land 71%. And the last one, 310, potential 29 to 100, bull to cow ratio 94% public land. So of those 3, this one's got my attention. Higher bull to cow ratio, higher public land, still good trophy potential, and then I can click in there and find out what the harvest has been. And looking at harvest percentage in 2017 was 86% for archery hunters. So hopefully that gives you a really good overview of how I dissect a state and find the units within the state that I want to draw. I'll look for sleeper units, because obviously Unit 60, if I want to go with an outfitter, or if I have a friend that lives in Wyoming that's willing to hunt there with me, I can hunt Unit 60 every year in Wyoming. And trophy potential is off the charts. We're hunting the border of Yellowstone. We're hunting in heavy grizzly country, so that probably keeps most people out of there. But there are a lot of factors that come into me deciding what unit I want to hunt in. Again, GoHUNT has been, for me, the most powerful resource to be able to research every state. And I was skeptical when I first signed up, and I have renewed my membership every year because of the value that I get in finding these units. And every year I find a unit that I'd never heard of before, never thought about hunting, and I'm able to match it with my criteria of what I'm looking for. One thing that's definitely worth mentioning is if you are a member of GoHUNT Insider, if you go to your Insider Base Camp, which is kind of the home page, you're going to have all sorts of information there that's going to help you. You've got dates and deadlines for every western state, elk, deer, moose, goat, sheep, everything. Also got articles, strategy articles. For instance, Application Strategy 2019 for Wyoming elk. If you click on it, this article is absolutely packed with all the information you could ever dream of about hunting elk in Wyoming. You've got an overview of the application. You've got Why Wyoming for Elk in 2019, talking about what the benefits of applying for Wyoming are. And then really cool are the changes for 2019. For instance, you can no longer just go and buy a preference point from July 1st to October 31st. It's now required. You can't just apply for the hunt and select to get a bonus point if you're unsuccessful. If you're unsuccessful in the application, you still have to go and buy that bonus point. Just lots of different things. You're going to be charged a 2.5% fee if you apply by credit card in Wyoming this year. So all of those changes are there. They talk about how many elk or how many licenses have been sold, how many elk are harvested year by year, the fees for non-resident elk, how the draw system works. They break it down in the split between non-resident and resident tags, as well as the split between the regular and the special draw. They talk about party applications, the different license types in Wyoming. All of that information is broken down in the breakdown, as well as the Wyoming elk harvest success statewide, averaging almost 40% success in Wyoming. And then each unit within the state, within each region, is broken down with estimates on populations, with bull to cow ratios, with harvest objectives, with population objectives, all of that information. The impact of wolves on Wyoming's elk herds, hunting in grizzly country, trophy potential, all of that information. The thing that I really like about this strategy article is the GoHUNT hit list. And they talk about the top 20 units and why they're the top 20 units. So you can see trophy potential, it's ranked by trophy potential, it's got bull to cow ratios, harvest success, branch antlered bull success, and the percent of public land. All the information I look for is right here in this chart to get you started and applying for Wyoming elk. So anyway, that's my overview for Wyoming and my application strategy. If you're interested in signing up for a membership at GoHUNT for their insider membership, just go to gohunt.com/elk101. They've created a landing page for our viewers from the Elk 101 channel to go and sign up for their insider membership. And if you use that landing page when you sign up, GoHUNT's going to send you a $50 gift card to the Elk 101 store. So you're going to be able to buy elk calls, game bags, whatever hunting gear you need. You're going to be able to buy that from the Elk 101 store with a free $50 gift card. So again, gohunt.com/elk101. You can get signed up. The link is also down below in the notes. And I'm going to go ahead and get applied for Wyoming here. And the other thing to mention is they do have bonus points in Wyoming, but you do have to apply for those separately. If you're unsuccessful in the draw, you have to go back between July 1st and October 31st, I believe is the date, and actually buy your bonus point for $50 for non-resident Wyoming elk. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck in the Wyoming draw if you're putting in for Wyoming elk in 2019.